The vast majority of you are probably never going to meet me in person. By the nature of online courses, it kind of is the advantage or disadvantage of these types of activities. But I thought I'd give you a little bit of background on myself, and hopefully from that background information you'll get a better feel for how this course is constructed. I'm standing outside of my office. I'm in Howlett Hall, which is over west of the Olentangy River. Howlett Hall was built in 1967, so it's been around quite a few years. This floor has been renovated, and obviously I'm standing in front of my office here. And I just wanted to point out one thing before I show you inside my office. One is this hopefully will be a really short video. And the second thing is where people do notes and things like that to remind them things about things, I usually kind of collect things that have a story behind them. And the biggest thing I've collected that's in my office or around my office is this mower, which we'll talk about mowing in great detail about. This mower is a Toro mower that was built in the 1930s and actually was used at Scioto Country Club, which is located here in Columbus, Ohio, or more officially in Upper Arlington. But as you can see, there's no engine. For your information, it's a 9-blade reel. If you don't know what that is, you'll know about that when you discuss mowing. And literally you pushed it across the green to mow greens, and it still cuts well, and it's kind of a neat mower. So anyway, you'll be able to follow me in here. Well, welcome to my office, 334 Howlett Hall. Not much different than any other faculty office on campus. Few things though, I did clean it up. Usually it's much more cluttered in here than it currently is, but I thought I would do that for this video. As I mentioned again, the vast majority of you will not come see me, but I want you to know that you're always more than welcome if you're nearby or on campus, or if you want questions answered in person. Always feel free to drop by and see me. My door is always open to students. Of course, the joke is, yeah, his door's always open, but he's never in there. But again, you're always welcome to come see me. I thought I'd start off over here. You can't really see them, but over here on the left side of this wall are your obligatory degrees. I did my undergraduate work at Purdue University, master's at Illinois, and my PhD at Michigan State University. And then after I got my PhD at Michigan State, I came straight here to Ohio State University in my current position. I guess the downside to 3 Big Ten schools is alumni dues kind of kill me. And then a big difference too is none of those schools have a football team like we do. But anyway, one thing, when I was an undergraduate at Purdue, I took this class in microbiology, and it was a difficult class for me as an undergrad. But one of the neat things they had at the end of that class was they had extra credit. And extra credit consisted of me spending almost the entire final week of class in that lab. It was all, again, as extra credit, optional. And I just camped out there, did all these experiments, took all the tests, did all that, and raised it to a grade that I wanted. And I always remembered that. So in this class and activity, you get extra credit opportunities. I think personally, I kind of embrace the work ethic, and if you're willing to work, why not give you the opportunity to increase your grade if you're not happy? And if you've done really well anyway, you don't have to do it. So anyway, that's where if you want some roots into why I do extra credit, actually comes from my own personal experience. As we move down, kind of cluttered through here, I do have a refrigerator. I do not know why I haven't opened it in 5 years. And I really don't want to open it now to see if there's anything in there molding or whatever. But you can see I have a coffee machine. I don't really use that either. But if I have one addiction is I always stop by at Starbucks on my way into work, get a cup of coffee. And I always enjoy that place because oftentimes it's the only place during the day that people are actually happy to see me. But anyway, as we move along, if you look here, I stopped doing this around 2000. But I collected these golf balls, and from places I'd been, or had interns, or visited, or whatever, through the course of my work and things like that. And I try to incorporate a lot of different situations from not only here in Ohio, but throughout the country and across the world to explain certain ideas that may pop up in this class. I moved over here, just a few things to mention. One is this LP 45 by Elvis Presley. Some of you probably don't even know who Elvis is. That's okay. If you want to know more about him, you can Google him. Anyway, this has a nice story behind it, at least for me, is when I was getting my, or going to Michigan State to work toward my PhD, I was quite honored to be accepted into the program and very honored to be accepted by my major professor at the time, who was famous, had published profusely, written extensively, and traveled the world probably more than any other person in my field or in his, and actually still travels quite a bit. He traveled over 250,000 miles last year in flight miles. Anyway, when I arrived there, I obviously went to his office. First day, nervous, because I thought, wow, you know, this is just going to be a great experience for me. And when I walked into his office, the first thing I saw was a life-size cutout of Elvis Presley. And when I looked over at his bookcase, he had a number of books, and they broke down into two main areas. One was the books he wrote or authored, and the others were these Elvis books. And it was totally not what I was expecting when I went in to see. And from that experience, or it's kind of stuck in my mind, is that I hopefully this online course is maybe a little different than you've experienced before, if you've taken any. I focus on really visual things. What we're studying here, agronomics of golf course management, is very visual in nature. So I try to bring as much of that to this class as I can. And so I kind of keep that in mind. Other things too, let's see. If you've been looking at this video, you probably have seen to your right, my keys are stuck in my door, at least my car keys and office keys. You know, it's one bad habit I have of leaving my keys in the door. The good thing is at least I don't lose them. I know where they're at. But anyway, one of my side hobbies outside of work and family is and playing golf is a 69 Firebird that I have. So that's why this is here. Maybe you'll see some of that pop up. I always try to tie my car into something that we're teaching. And as we move along, again, computers, if you're interested, I've been looking at the face saver on my computer. Yes, that is a steer skull in the middle of a bunker, which I took that picture at a famous golf course around this area. Anyway, I collect, as I mentioned, mementos and things that have either been given to me or I've picked up myself, that are basically memories of those places. every place from South Africa to the Middle East, and again I try to bring some of that into this class. And then also too some awards. Here's one award I received. I have a few awards on my wall that mean something to, well, they all mean something to me, but have a special meaning. And so I have a few here, a few on the wall, and a whole bunch under the desk. But anyway, this one was given to me for these articles I wrote on environmental issues facing golf and the management of turf. I spent a lot of my time writing, whether it's writing columns, which I did for this award for national magazines. I've written journal articles, all the things that are expected of a faculty member, grants, reports, things like that. So we spend a lot of time, or at least I spend a lot of time writing. Interestingly though, in this class, we have none of those assignments. You do not have to write a report or anything along those lines. The course is pretty straightforward. You learn the material and you're quizzed on it. And maybe that's a little old-fashioned here at Ohio State, and it doesn't fit into the current models of teaching, but you know, hey, I'm kind of an old guy, and I somewhat kid about that. But really in this class, what you're learning is a lot of things of how to do something. And so I put a big emphasis on what you've learned about that. There are a lot of other courses where you can learn why and do other discussions, but that doesn't fit this class. So again, no writing assignments and no discussion. If you have any questions, always email me. As we move along through here, again, just a philosophical thing that I've learned over time. This is an album, REO Speedwagon. I grew up in Champaign, Illinois. And during that time when I was a young teenager, REO Speedwagon had formed at the University of Illinois. Actually, during that time, there was a lot of neat bands from Rockford, Illinois, down through Champaign and into Charleston, Illinois, which is eastern Illinois. And bands like REO Speedwagon, Head East, Cheap Trick, all were playing locally during that time. So it's kind of a neat time for me, which I didn't really appreciate at the time. And actually, I was walking with a friend down his street, messing around, doing whatever, and we walked by this one residence with garage, and in this garage was this band practicing, and they happened to be REO Speedwagon at the time. And at that time they were just playing local bars and local, how should I say it, high school hangouts where you could pay $1 or a quarter to go hear them. And I remember saying to my friend, I said, geez, you know, when are those guys going to go out and get a real job and do something? And you know what? Looking back, that's the last time I ever said anything like that to anybody, including my own sons, you know. Always follow your passion, but don't let somebody else tell you you can't do something. So anyway, that kind of sums up this short video on my office. Again, always feel free to contact me via email or phone. Also, feel free to drop by and see me anytime.